It was a disco. It was a great restaurant, Bobby McGee's Conglomeration, and there was a bar and a disco. Because back in the 70s, you met your soulmate.
At a disco.
At a disco.
And a bar. So anyhow, I just decided to go up there that one night by myself. Didn't ask any of my buds. I just felt the calling to go up there. There were, at the time, 4 in the valley, and I'd been to the other 3. So I figured, okay, I'll try this one out, see what it was like. And I don't know, we'd been there about an hour or so, and I danced a couple of times with a couple other young ladies. And then Barb walked by and I said, well, okay, I'll ask her to dance. I asked her to dance. We danced a couple dances. I went back and sat down at the table with her and talked her ear off for 45 minutes.
This guy goes, can I sit down and talk to you? And he puts his little drink down and he sits down on the shag carpet step right next to my person and began to talk. And talk. And I'm like, I don't know how I can get this guy to not recognize that I'm like, I was with someone. I was with a girlfriend. And so he continued to talk. But the good news here, we were both doing something right. We were doing something good for ourselves. Is that we had asked God. We had asked God into our lives, and we began to surrender a little bit of that control of our future to God. And so as he began to talk, and I was kind of, there but not, he said something, and I couldn't tell you what it is for the life of me. I just couldn't tell you what it is. But something clicked in my heart. And I just, all of a sudden, it was like, pay attention. Pay attention. It's hard to explain. When you're praying, God is working. And that's how we know that we believe in the God of miracles. How do we know that we believe in the God of miracles? He can send your future spouse to the disco to blind you. Yeah? Yeah. So our God isn't limited by the circumstances of life. He's not limited by that. And God will place your person anywhere that he wants you to find him or her. And so to trust that. So as we spoke, and it's like, remember in Scripture it talks about where the scales fell from there. The scales fell from my ears, and I paid attention to this man in front of me. And so as you think about your futures, and as you plan for your futures, we suggest that maybe bring God along for the ride. Bring God along for the ride. Because the view that I had of the man that I would meet and marry was very teeny-weeny. Very small, wasn't a lot of... I didn't have a checklist. It wasn't like going to the sub place. Yeah, I want some tomatoes, some lettuce, pickles like pickles. You got some boiling vinegar? Chocolate sauce. Do you have some of that? Can I put some of that on? Because chocolate goes with everything, frankly. I didn't have this checklist. I hadn't figured that out. I was just, I guess, open, and whatever God would plop into my lap. And yet God sent me this amazing surprise that I couldn't possibly have imagined. What I say sometimes to my couples is that we can have our idea, which is like this. There it is. That's what I'm going for. But God's saying right out here, hey, got something amazing right out here. Nope, this is the plan. I'm sticking to it right here. This is what I got. And that was me for a while, right? Same old thing, same old results. Is that I had my little telescope vision of what I thought my future might look like. And when we began to pray, I put the telescope down and I let God sort of lead that. And so who would have thought at a disco I would meet the man of my dreams? And instead of having a very narrow, small life in the West Valley, Mark and I have lived all over the world. Right? We have experienced South Korea under martial law. It was a good time. It was a good time. We have been in England during the Cold War. I have been called a communist. No, not a communist. A capitalist. A capitalist in North Africa.
Tunisia.
We have good times. We have had good times all over the world.
And we've traveled quite a bit with that. I never would have thought of something like that. Going with my bride before we had children, traveling, getting to see to do things. Never thought God had that in our plans for us. But the one thing that really helped Barb and I, while we were talking together, the phrase that kind of got the scales off her eyes, he says, oh, I like to go to 9 o'clock Mass on Sunday morning. And I don't know why I said that. I don't know where that came from. But that's kind of when she started really paying more close attention. And so sometimes we're a little hesitant to mention to other people that we're Catholic or a Christian or anything like that. But sometimes you have to be proud of what you are. You have to be proud of your faith. You have to be proud of the fact that your faith came from Christ through St. Peter and all the popes up to Pope Francis today, and Father Matt here to guide you along as your shepherd. You should be proud of that fact and not be afraid to share that with others at times. I know, okay, it sounds like I'm talking a little loony, but to be honest with you, I was very afraid to do that at times, especially when I was in college. But I tell you what, as I grew and matured more, I wasn't afraid to say that I was Catholic. Wasn't afraid to pray together with this young lady that I had just met. In fact, the second date we went out, we started praying together. That may seem a little strange.
I don't remember that. I don't know what he's telling you about me, but he probably has a better memory than I do.
Yes, because I can still remember what the cost of gas was back in those days.
What I remember growing up, too, my dad had said this, and it was something that we absolutely disregarded as crazy old man. Don't bring them home if they ain't Catholic. Yeah, crazy old man, I'm going to do that. And so it really wasn't something that I paid attention to. It certainly wasn't something that I looked for when I even dated someone. I didn't even ask, right? I kept my faith pretty close to the vest here. But yet when he said that, it sort of opened something. Because my dad would say, a shared faith is one less thing to fight about. One less thing to fight about. One more thing to bond you closer together. Right? One less thing to fight about. One more thing to bond you closer together. And you're not limited to that, because the amazing experience that I have been able to be a part of and see in my couples as I probably have met and worked with several hundred, 500, 600 couples over the last 7 years. And that has been an amazing privilege to work with them. And so I get to meet couples from all walks of life and all faith and no faith at all. And yet when we spoke at the RCA on Sunday, 3 of my couples that were a mixed marriage to begin with. A mixed marriage is 2 Christians, one Catholic and one baptized Christian of another denomination. All 3 of those couples were in RCIA. And so you're not limited to Catholic only or nothing. You're not. But I would say that as you think about your life and think about your future, think about what's important to you. Many times I'll have women who don't care at the time. When they're going through marriage preparation, I don't care what faith it is. I don't mind going to church by myself. But those same women, 5 and 7 and 8 years later, are saying, I'm sick of this. I'm sick of going to church by myself. I'm sick of taking the kids by myself. And so to think about that, think about your future. Think about all kinds of things. What's important to you? What are you looking for in a future husband or a future wife? What's important to you? And then look at your parents. So in fact, what I'm going to do is, to make it a little more interactive right now, is just think for like 10 seconds one thing that's important for you to find in a future spouse. And then if you're not afraid, be afraid. We're up here. You can do this. This is easy. Okay. Come up and share. Or I can walk to you and just hunt you down. I have a little bit of length here. So is there something? Anybody? Or shout it out, really? What's one thing that's important to you?
Good parenting.
Good parenting? Okay. What else?
Self-awareness.
Self-awareness. Awesome. The more you know yourself, the more you know who will compliment you better. What else?
Communication.
Communication. Good communication skills.
Relationship with God.
Relationship with God. Awesome. What else?
Empathy.
Empathy, right? Come on, guys. Only one person has spoken. Buddy, go. Trusting? Yeah. Can you trust this other person? Can you not only trust this other person, can you entrust your life with this other person? What else?
Can they make you laugh?
They make you laugh, right? Right? What else?
Will they support you?
Do they support you? So give me examples. What's some examples of do they support you?
Do they go to like things you want to do or things that like their hobbies with you?
Right? Right? Do they share you? Mark loves doing desserts with me. Probably any other man in the house here would eat my desserts, right? But the man I married, I have to bake goodies for Father Matt because my own husband doesn't eat dessert.
I would gain 300 pounds if I did.
But shared interest in supporting one another. That's a wonderful thing. What else? Guys.
Desire for motherhood.
Desire for motherhood, right?
A lot of children.
Watch it. Shout it out.
Have a good family life.
Yeah, good family life.
They don't disdainfully judge others for their decisions.
Right, right. Patience. We joke when we do the God's Plan for Joyful Marriage, which we'll be doing on Saturday here. And on one of our segments, when we're talking about love, I don't know how, are you familiar with the 1 Corinthians 13? Love is patient, love is kind, right? Good. So after 37 years, I always joke with truth. I'm still working on patience. Love is patient. And so patience is a wonderful virtue, right? Wonderful virtue. Who else was hands up somewhere? So
Yes.
Goal-oriented.
Goal-oriented.
Motivates me to be better.
Right.
Motivates to be better.
And that's excellent, right? The person that should be with you should motivate you more. In fact, the statistics show that when you're married, you're smarter. When you're married, you're actually smarter. Why would I say that? 2 brains, right? Because of my loving beloved here, I can tell you the cost of a barrel of oil, right?
Yes.
I know when a low front is coming in and what that feels like and looks like. What can you tell? What have you got smarter from me?